Hi Aries, and welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Did you know that the Radiant Reality sale is up and out there? So from the 21st to the 22nd, you've got 48 hours. All of my prices for all of my services, bar one, are slashed. You can get a really good deal. If you've been with me long enough, you know I don't do Black Friday or any of that business. So if you want to get a deal on one of my readings and you want to get a bag of bargain, as they say, now is your chance to do so. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you all on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your key to the week, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget that to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. Your key to the week this week is the Hanged Man. So it really is about waiting, patience, and stillness this week. You are being encouraged to take a minute, to take a step back, and before you jump in, before you kind of do anything, take a moment to reassess and reevaluate sort of where you're going in all of these different areas of your life. The other thing about this card is it tends to be quite self-sacrificing, so you are really effectively as well, maybe this week you're being asked to put yourself on the line for someone or something else, right? So usually, and I mean this with all love, care, and courtesy and due respect, but usually Aries is quite focused on itself. This week it's about focusing on others. All right, for your actions and options, you've got the Four of Cups. So there is a feeling this week that it's kind of like maybe you're constantly having to put yourself out. Maybe you feel like you're being expected to do for others maybe what they can do for themselves. That Four of Cups does, aside from all of the other sort of energies that comes up with it, sometimes this is about being in an emotional funk. And you've got this with the Hanged Man. This can be, where you really just feel stuck in a specific emotional state. And the way out of that, in terms of the options that are available to you, are to look further afield because you're not seeing things clearly because you're in some sort of self-imposed funk. So you got to snap out of it this week, my dear Aries, all right? I'm really sorry to say, but this week, it's going to come from within. For your, very interesting, right? So we have your communications and conversations, which is also your career sector. You've got the Emperor card. So you've got the Emperor, right? That's you, literally. So maybe you're communicating out, but there's definitely a disconnect with the communication that's coming through, right? So I wouldn't be surprised this week if there are potentially some crossed wires. I would also say before you sort of jump into or onto your Aries horse and, be the Aries that you are, and you know what I'm talking about, right? When you guys are ready, you let everybody know how you're thinking, what you're feeling, and all the rest of it. But that Hanged Man is basically saying if you charge in this week, all guns blazing, kicking off, shouting, and all the rest of it, not all of you do it that way, but you know what I'm talking about. The chances are you're going to end up sort of doing yourself a disservice, especially when it comes to the career, when it comes to conversations in general. There's often that saying where people say like you can be liked or you can be respected or you can be feared. This week it really is about finding or utilizing the strategic energies of the Emperor, meaning you have to know how to talk to your audience, right? You have to know how to effectively, like this week, in order for you to get something, you're going to have to give something. All right, that's probably the easiest way for me to put it. Now you've got the Four of Cups. You've also got the Emperor. The Emperor is number 4, so 2 4s represents insomnia. I wouldn't be surprised if you're not sleeping very well this week, and if that is the case, this is a time for you to really check in with yourself at a spiritual level and also especially at an emotional level, all right? Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this is great. It could be you establishing a really nice, solid foundation for yourself, but truth be told, told, because you've got the Hanged Man here, you might not be very clear on what it is that you want to do with the, with the information that you have. It could also be that you start to look at the organization that you're studying with or under in a very different light. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, it's almost like you're starting to see very quickly who your allies are and who your allies sort of aren't. In a lot of ways, there's you getting really serious, I feel, about the ties that you do want within your work sphere and the ties that you don't, and maybe going out on a limb to say as much from the offset. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, it's really weird, because for you guys, I feel like there's a new subject that you're somewhat obsessed with. So you're kind of looking into this, or maybe you see somebody do something that your business offers, etc., but you're seeing them doing it in such a new or novel way that it's kind of making you not second guess your own approach, but it's like you're looking at what you do and how you do it and asking yourself how you can sort of how you can adapt what you do in some way, shape or form. So I actually really like that for you. Now, for those of you that are retired and no longer working, there could be some hard conversations that need to be had this week around home, family, certainly around emotional ties as well, and maybe even, just maybe, for all of you in some regard, there are serious talks around religion, spirituality. Yes, there's no Hierophant card here, but this combination of cards can speak to that. So I'm kind of like, at this moment, I'm almost feeling like there's a belief system or a belief structure of some sort that you feel maybe that you need to defend. But you might have a moment or a crisis of faith where you almost say to yourself, okay, yeah, I feel the need to defend this, but more importantly, why? Right? So you're asking yourself some hard questions about your faith and your religion. When it comes to your love and relations, you've literally got the Lovers card. So love, relations, partnerships, all of those things are to the fore. If you are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, there are potentially some tough emotional sort of considerations that need to be had in terms of communication this week. And for some of you, you might be putting an ultimatum down. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is like a my way or the highway kind of energy. It could just be that you almost like say, look, you know what, this is the direction that I want to go in. You're either on board or you're not, but I'm not going to wait for you any longer. For those of you that are single and looking, you could absolutely connect with somebody this week, but I got to be honest with you, if there is any form of a sticking point this week, it's going to be the spiritual or the belief system. This person might be highly religious or very spiritual, and you might not be. Maybe you're the one that's highly spiritual or highly religious, and the other person isn't. It is going to be a point of contention further down the line. Maybe at the moment in the honeymoon phase, it's not a problem or an issue, but as you get further into it, it will potentially cause some ripples. So you need to be really honest with yourself this week about whether that is a deal breaker or not. I just want to say before we get into your money and materials, remember the Reydiant Reality sale is on. So if you want to get yourself a bargain, make sure you get it on the 21st and the 22nd of June. There is going to be a 48-hour flash sale. I slash all of my prices. Why? Because Reydiant Reality turns 8 years old. And this is so crazy, right? Because literally I just pulled your card you saw, right, from the deck. The Eight of Pentacles literally represents 8 years, right? And that is as long as my business has been alive. So I'm very, very chuffed to see that nice little synchronicity there. So in terms of the money and the money, finances and resources, the Eight of Pentacles suggests that the boost from your resources this week will come from work. It will come from the work that you're doing. It will come from potentially as well, for some of you, maybe this is going to be a pay rise in relation to your skill set. For others, this could be that you are maybe setting something into motion that brings more resources your way through your knowledge, skill set, etc. For those of you that when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this, especially with the Hanged Man, is going to be your digestive system. For those of you that are overindulging in the alcohol or the coffee or the kombucha or whatever it is, like something that you could be drinking right? So something that you're ingesting, but something that is like liquid form that you're drinking could really be quite harsh on your tummy this week. So I just want you to keep that as a consideration. When it comes to your home and environment, the Eight of Pentacles is literally work that needs to be done on the home. All right. This, especially with the Hanged Man, this will have something to do with either the plumbing, the water. If for those of you that have got like a pool or something along those lines, that could also be the consideration that you need to think about as well. If you've got a water feature in the home or outside of the home, that will need maintenance this week. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.